condemn something not understood. As humans, it seems that our first reaction to something that we're not used to or don't get is to just start bashing it. Whether it's dealing with people who we don't understand, values or habits in others that we don't understand, or even just their ideas, the first thing on our brain is always just to bash it. What I think is important for all of us to learn is to take a step back and remember that just because we don't understand something doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Whenever we go out in public, sometimes we'll see people doing things or acting in a certain way that we may not understand. And a lot of times, our first instinct is just to immediately start calling it bad or inappropriate, whenever we don't actually know the full story. I remember a personal time of mine whenever I was walking with Brianna outside, and I heard somebody on the street screaming. I thought that it was really weird that somebody was screaming out in the middle of the street, and what I actually didn't know is that that person had a mental and physical disability. And I felt really, really terrible about it afterwards. But I think that it was a really good lesson for me to learn to not judge just based on what I didn't understand. Values and habits of other people can also confuse us. Especially as Christians, we tend to see things very black and white. And I know that there are a lot of times whenever we may see somebody who has, for example, had an abortion before, and immediately start judging the situation and calling them a terrible person. But we may not have understood their situation, and it's not our place to be judging them for what they have or haven't done. Ideas can also be something that we condemn straight off the bat. Somebody's thoughts of what they want to do whenever they grow up or how they want to be, they can often be judged for being stupid or impractical. But they may have a certain reason why they want to do this, or why they want to be this way, or have these habits, or do things like that. And it's important for us to take a step back and remember that just because we don't understand something straight off the bat doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It seems that our first instinct is always just to say that whatever we don't get is not really necessary for us to learn. We tend to look on the negative side of things and not really open up our minds to what other people may have to think or say. Whether it's dealing with people, their values and habits, or their ideas, our first instinct is just to close ourselves off and tell other people that their ideas are wrong, even if we haven't taken a moment to listen and understand what their ideas even are. It is easy to condemn something that is not understood, but it's really not that hard to try to understand either. I think that as humans, we should have a little bit of humanity and remember that other people aren't always right, but that means that we aren't always right either. That's it.
All right, that's it. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much.